Hey everybody, Dan Deegan here, creator of Little Conversations Today and host of Your Conversation Counts on the Voice America Empowerment Network. On this episode of Little Conversations TV, we're going to talk about the psychology that goes with quotes, that goes behind quotes, if you will. You know, a lot of people love quotes, and some people look at quotes and say, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But when you start investigating the psychology behind it, there's an essence to the quote. So for example, some quotes actually encompass 20 years of someone's life, helping people, going through trials and tribulations that you might be going through right now. And they take all of that and they focus it into 5, 10, 15 words. So the quote we're going to actually talk about today is one from Zig Ziglar. And Zig Ziglar says, "Positive thinking will let you do everything better than negative thinking will." So there's 3 key elements that we've positioned here about positive thinking. So when you look at the psychology of that quote, there's one thing that you have to do, and the first one is, of course, you have a choice. Are you going to choose to think positive? Are you going to choose not to think positive? Either way, you've made a choice. But one thing that comes with choice is time. So when are you going to choose to think positive? We say you choose today, because there's no such thing as sometime. That's never on the calendar. And any major successful person, I don't care what your idea of success is, they'll tell you now. Act on it now. Choose today. Make the choice to think positive today. Now, that goes right along with our second point. And our second point is it going to be easy? Is it going to be easy to think positive every day, all day? Of course not. None of us are machines. None of us are robots. We have bad days. We have these things called emotions. We're human. It's perfectly natural. But if thinking positive will make things better than negative thinking will, we're allowed to think negative sometimes because we're human, as I said, emotions, all these things. But just be careful about getting into the vortex of negativity, because there's a vortex of both positivity and negativity. And I believe the vortexes are exactly the same, okay? It starts with venting. So you can vent positive or you can vent negative, okay? And then as you vent and you start sharing with somebody these great things that are happening to you today or these not so great things that are happening to you today, what happens is you're actually processing them, the second stage of the vortex. So you got your second stage down here. You're processing them. Once you pass the processing point, it becomes chronic. And that's when that spiral of negativity or that verticalness of positivity kick in. And if it's a positive part of it, go for it. I mean, keep talking about it. Keep sharing. If it's negative and you've realized you're past the processing point. So when do we realize when we're past the processing point? The best thing I can share with you, because it's so individual for every person, is when you've repeated something on, say, the same conversation 2 times, 3 times, the same exact scenario I'm meaning, or the same exact message you're trying to relay in visual terms to the individual you're speaking to. Or maybe you've had 3 conversations in the last hour, and each of them have the same message in it of negativity. That's stuck in a negative vortex. How do you know when you're in a positive vortex? And that's the one you really want to be in, is same thing. 3, 4 times you read it. Oh my gosh, that was so awesome. I can't believe that happened. You should have seen it. Whether it's in sports, whether it's in business, career, love life, whatever. It's irrelevant. And then you talk to 3 people that day and they feel the same thing. That's in a positive vortex. And when you're in a positive vortex, it's real easy to keep going. Same thing when you're in a negative vortex. It's real easy to keep going. So you have to stop and really say to yourself, am I past the point of processing this negative idea, thought, situation, turmoil, whatever the case may be? Okay? And then the last piece of the puzzle is actually the piece of the puzzle. And why do we say that? This piece could be what has been needed by so many people. So, for example, you hear the quote, you internalize it, you understand the psychology of it, you make a choice to start being positive today. You realize that being positive isn't necessarily all the time an easy thing to do. You do know when you're positive And when you start this positivity, so if you start your positivity on this note right here and you escalate it, it becomes easier and easier. Now, vice versa, it also becomes easier. So let's not forget that. But if you eliminate this and we just say we're going to get rid of that because we don't want to be negative. We don't want to necessarily entertain those emotions that really don't serve us for any particular reason at all. The piece of the puzzle is people are going to want to be around you. People are going to want to be with you. And you're going to realize as this becomes easier, this puzzle just starts growing and growing. And all the pieces start fitting. And as all the pieces start fitting, you're going to start figuring things out a lot more clear. So I encourage you, go out, find one of your favorite quotes that speaks to you in a way that a lot of quotes don't. And look at the psychology of it. And try to understand it. And then write it down. You know, we'd love for you below this video to start sharing your comments. Get over to littleconversationstoday.com, like us on Facebook. Over at littleconversations.com, there's a link below this video where you could actually post your comment. By all means, put it up on a website and share it with us. I'd love to watch your video about what the psychology you have about a quote is, and I really hope you enjoy Zig's quote because it is fantastic when you really dig into the depths of it. You know, on the outside it might just seem superficial, but when you dig into it, it's so powerful and it's so true. Take care. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Little Conversations Today TV, the psychology of quotes. Joy to you.